side. I'd rather chip my pride than lose my mind out here. Maybe I'm a fool.
What's good, party people? This is your friendly neighbor, Chad the Maverick, back again with another video. And for today, we're going to be going over the end of Gemini season to the beginning of Cancer season. But there's a twist in this video. And what I mean by twist is that the energies that are going off within this time frame before Cancer season are absolutely ridiculous. But with that being said, if you haven't checked out my other video with the transits, I'll talk about them more direct, but astrologically. But just looking at it right now, we have Mars trine Neptune, Mars conjunct the node, Mars opposing Saturn, Mercury trine Neptune, Mercury conjunct the node. There's so many Neptune, North Node, and Saturn aspects where it's legitimately like you're having to live your dream and your destiny and your highest calling and actually make it materialize or whatever it is. It's a lot. It's definitely a lot. But I want to have this video kind of give y'all the stepping stones as to what these energies are truly representing and why these things are going down in my own way and through my own way of messaging, I suppose. I don't want to be like super traditional. I want to keep it at this new type of wave. But with that being said, as I say so often, for June 17th, there's going to be a full moon in Sagittarius within all of this other Neptune, Saturn, and node energy, and also Pluto energy after that, right before leading into Cancer season, which is a season which is all about the North Node and all about destiny and all about how you're going to be placing your greatest power into the things that you truly love and desire. So the full moon Sagittarius is going to be giving everyone the clear vision on how it is. And there's going to be a lot of purging going down when it comes to this Scorpio full moon transit, which I believe, Scorpio moon transit, which starts like the 14th, I want to say, 14th, 15th. And then, what day is it? Yeah, then the 17th is when it happens for real. And you get to start to really see what that is, or there's going to be some form of vision or sense or understanding that comes through with this full moon, as all of these culminating themes that have been going down this whole Gemini season are going to start to actually impact. But let's get into the actual heart of the matter. And the heart of the matter is the heart, ironically enough. This transition that's going down right now is going to be the transition between Gemini and Cancer season. So it's going to be the transition between the mind and the heart. And between the mind and the heart lies the throat. And the throat chakra in actuality represents the seat in a sense of consciousness, because this is the connector between your heart and your upper mind and your upper facilities, higher selves, etc. However way you want to put that together. But let's get into this time frame. This is weird. This is represented by Gene Key 12. And Gene Key 12 is pretty much the idea between, it's the final trial, the secrets of high art, and then the last section, which is the highest portion, is being swallowed by the void. But that swallowed by the void, in a sense, is going to be happening with the full moon in Sagittarius. So it's like, it's weird because it's like I can see the timing of how these things are supposed to go, so to speak. Anyway, this codon that is represented by the gene key represents a stop codon, right? And the stop codon is how we view vanity, right? Vanity is the true essence of you loving yourself. However, vanity becomes a shadow when we love ourselves so much that we don't know how to love others. humanity is humankind's first vice. It's our first vice and our last thing that we'll ever be able to let go. And the thing about vanity is that we can't let it go mentally, because trying to let go of vanity mentally actually creates more vanity, and then it creates more of a shadow in comparison. What we need to do instead of living through this vanity and these vain type of times is to take that away and put the love into ourselves. But let me explain. We put the love into ourselves because loving yourself in its true essence is loving everything else and everyone else around you. Like, that's how you truly know you love yourself, and it's not just a vain type of thing. The thing with vanity is that vanity fears that you using your heart will actually make you lose power over either yourself or external situations. But it's actually quite the opposite, considering the secret of the heart is language. So true power would be communication of hearts. As James Blake once put, I believe that love is touching souls. And it is in a lot of ways. Because the thing about it is that no matter how many beautiful words you may use or how good you may linguistically say something, the frequency of the tone that you're using is definitely going to be more impactful than anything you ever say. Tone is so much more important. Tone, that vibration sound, even music. Music is vibration. Music makes you feel a type of way. Music has that type of power, right? And the true leap from vanity into purity in its essence is the depth of the notion that we have to essentially love ourselves to a toxic degree. We have to have this sort of ego death is really subpar BS spiritual lingo, but we have to kind of rid ourselves of loving ourselves too much where we can't love what's outside of us. And everyone suffers this. Everyone, period. You watching this video by the end of this week, you're not going to just magically end all aspects of vanity. Vanity doesn't end for most people until like their second Saturn return. It's not something to like 54, like maybe, if that, depends on the person. Like these things, this is legitimately something that sticks with. But instead of clinging to the vanity, you have to understand the difference between vanity and discrimination. But let me explain discrimination in this terminology and not the discrimination that is societally used on a day-to-day basis. So when I mean discrimination, I'm talking about when you take away the power, when you take away what's not authentic. So anything that's not coming to you that's authentic, you kind of discriminate against. Discrimination in its actual terminology is like, it's making sure that the things that you don't need kind of get weeded away. So if someone who's a professional, let's say artist, right, or a professional musician or a professional writing, these type of people have a certain amount of discrimination because they know what's good and what to keep and what's not good and what to throw away. Like I say, when I make my music, it's like I attack my music with great discrimination. So if there's something that like I don't like in it, or like there's like a note off or something like that, I cut it. Like just done. But the idea behind this quote unquote discrimination is to just cut off what's not truly resonating with the rest of it. Like, for example, if there's someone who's toxic in your life, right, you may start, in order for you to protect yourself and to live into your truth, you may have to discriminate against having them be around or being in a certain light to you, because these people end up hurting you, or they end up taking advantage of your energy, or they end up doing something negative towards your general life. And it happens to a lot of people. It's happened to me. It's like, this is a life thing. Like, I'm not above it. No one's above it. We're all a part of it. No one's above it. But what we can do is be conscientious of those things in order for us to keep striving and moving and make better days. A simple way to put it. But the thing about it is that like I said before, this discrimination type thing is when you finally combine the logic of Gemini and the feelings of Cancer. Because this in between cusp, so to speak, you only want to communicate your feelings towards people that deserve your communication, or that deserves certain parts and aspects of you. You don't want to just give out your feelings per se to any person that can walk by, because not everyone has you in their best favor. Not everyone's actually your friend. Not everyone actually is watching you progress because they're watching you for a positive note. Some people are watching you for surveillance. Shouts out to Big Empress Energy, because I peeped that from her tweet that she put out and on Instagram. If you don't know who she is, go follow her. Big Empress Energy. One more time. Shouts out. But what I'm saying is that pretty much to reach this next state of time, especially with the Scorpio moon and especially with the Sagittarius, is that we're going to have to purify. Scorpio energy purifies. Scorpio at its essence is the purification of all things. That's why Scorpio can sometimes be seen or deemed as negative, because they're the ones that will go through and purify certain things. When people say or have negative results or affinities with people with Scorpio energy, it's generally because they declined their sincerity and their purity in such a way that it becomes thwarted. I wrote something earlier today, and I was like, it was me on some weird philosophical tip, but I was like, is hate not love? Wait, is love not hate untwisted? Word, is hate not love untwisted? And when I said that, it kind of reminded me even the Scorpio full moon. Like, love is just hate untwisted. Hate is just love with a twist, because at the end of the day, it's the same type of energy. But the love portion of it is what we consider the purity. And the purity is when the divine falls in love with you and falls in love with your vessel and falls in love with how you're moving and falls in love with how you want to push out your heart into the world. That's what this is about. This is about finding the purity and finding the divine love. Because when you find your divine love and you find your divine masculine or your divine feminine, life becomes different for you. Life becomes so different. On one end, yearning for true love is vanity at its finest. But expressing the true love from your higher state, when you fall in love with your higher self, is when you reach this level of purity. And it's like, because what are you loving for? If you're loving for quote unquote lower desires and just like, let's say sexual means, or let's say just on the means of trying to gain creative leverage or something like that, that's the lower self. That's vanity. It feeds into it. So higher love is what essentially you feel when you finally reach peace. Peace is a big thing. There's something that I learned or heard in a recent podcast that I watched with Joe Rogan and Naval. I forgot his last name, but he goes by Naval. And he was saying something along the lines of, we are at a state in life where in years to come, there's not going to be jobs for us to complete that are menial and like task oriented. We're going to honestly only be in creative level jobs. Everything else will be taken care of us, like food production, etc. Like, there's not going to be human means to do so. It's going to be all based off of our creativity and how we express our heart, and everyone's going to be on a creative level in an ideal situation. But this energy that's coming up for this full moon really reminds me of the Fool card. Like, the Fool card is legitimately the first card of the tarot. It's the 0 card in the tarot, and it's the one that legitimately is just, he's the one that got up that morning and was like, screw it, I guess I'm going on an adventure. If you ever watch, like, it's like with the Pokemon, right? It's when a homie just gets his Pikachu and he's like, all right, bye mom, I'm out. I guess I'm gonna become a Pokemon master or something like that. Speaking of, go get a reading down below in my services. Everything's literally half off. They're like $35 for like really extra readings because I need to get a Nintendo Switch so I could play Pokemon Sword and Shield when it comes out, because I'm a nerd, and yeah, I said it. Manifest. Besides the point, outside of that. But on the real, like, we're at this state with this full moon where we need to get swallowed by our lust for life. Let's go. You have to get swallowed by our lust for life, because with this lust for life is where we finally embrace our higher portions, our higher knowledge, like our intuition in our head. We have that intuition in our head that knows what's up. We just have to ask other people for external validation. Everyone knows what it is. Everyone knows really what's up if you listen to you. Like, your higher self don't got it out for you in a negative way. I can tell you that much. Whether that higher self for you is God, whether that higher self for you is just you in your other state, whether that be like your spirit guides, whatever you want to place it to. At the end of the day, it's about getting put into the divine nature and letting the divine fall in love with you as much as you fall in love with the divine, because that's what true love is. And true love is the only way we're going to make it into this Cancer season and this next nodal time frame. So love, 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 love. Repeat love. Just keep saying love, 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 love. Love. Use your heart, your throat chakra, your clearinghouse for your upper chakras. The more that you speak on things, it's a great time for mantras. It's a great time for speaking out. But also, on the flip end of this, make sure you spend a lot of time with yourself with the Scorpio moon. Shouts out to OJC, because she actually peeped me onto that. OJC astrology. But yeah, clear house. Make sure you live through it. And yeah, that's kind of all I got for you. Stay beautiful. If you want services, they're down below in the description. To help Mav get a Nintendo Switch fund. But outside of that, on the real though, I love y'all. Thank y'all for really sticking through the video. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Holla at me. I don't know. Do what you want. Live your life. Anyway, peace out, y'all.